Hey, this is Brian Wright. I'm the coach. This is Coach's Corner. It is July 3rd. It's a Friday. It feels like Saturday, but it's actually a Friday. I'm here with my co-host today, Brian the interviewer. So you got to deal with two Brians for the price of one today.
Yes, sir.
We're up in beautiful Teaneck. We are at the NPC Universe supporting Mama.
Oh,
What do you think?
Mom, I'm having a great time here. It's just really hot, heat wave. It's like 110 degrees, but I'm happy to be supporting my mom in this, and yeah.
So just to throw out there with Mom, this bodybuilding thing is tough. She went from being a bikini competitor to being a wellness competitor, which means, Mom had to put some size on, and she's in a new division. And, considering two children, a crazy husband, a full-time job, we are all super, super proud of the effort that she put in and the things that she's done. She looked really good up there. She's really happy that she got this far. So, yeah, we're all proud of Mom.
I'm very proud of my mother. She looked very good out there.
Man, you're like really casual. Should I get on the casual slide with you back here? Should we do this?
Yeah.
Get on the cash?
Yeah.
All right, fine.
We're
going to get on the cash.
Show them what it's like down here.
All right, show them T-neck jersey style.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so what I wanted to talk about was International Fight Week because we
UFC 329. Bless you.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
Old man allergy problems. All right, so we're basically 7 days out from weigh-ins for UFC 329 International Fight Week. It's the return of Conor. It's Max and Conor, but there is a really big card. And I mean, seriously, they're kicking the night off in the early premiums. What am I wrong? Prelims. You got me all screwed up today. Alessandro Costa versus Cody Durden. Cody Durden fought on
UFC 326.
The one we were at.
Yes, that was saw Max him on Charles. He's been on 2 Max cards in a year. That's a pretty cool thing to say. But the thing I just have to say is he had an opponent switch up with Ode Osborne falling off. Then he gets Alessandro Costa, who is a pretty big difference in style wise. So it's a little difference. I think the opponent changed. I think he has a 2 weeks short notice for Alessandro Costa. So
I mean, there's dog and Cody Durden having to deal with that too. You're training, it's 2 weeks out. You get the change. You've been training probably 6 weeks at least already, getting ready for a specific style, specific opponent, and then Costa steps in, totally different. You've got to switch it up. I mean, the good part about it is you do have 2 weeks. You can game plan. You're in shape. So, but again, there's a lot of dog in you when you handle situations like that. So, yeah, I respect that.
Yeah, Cody Durden's been fighting he's been pretty active recently, and it's pretty much bound to happen. So when you're fighting this much, so it sucks because I thought Ode Osborne versus Cody Durden was going to be a banger, but it happens. Hopefully we can see them go at it another time.
So this is the first fight of the night, which is pretty wild. And then we go to Ryan Gondra versus Zach Reese. I'm not really familiar with Reese. I've seen Gondra before. It's a middleweight fight. If you look at the records, I do believe we have the potential for this being a little bit of a banger. What's your opinion?
I don't know. I'm not very familiar with either of them, but I know the names. I have seen them fight once, maybe twice, but nothing crazy.
Not memorable.
But what I can say is this is a good fight when it comes to the stats based off their stats. So that I don't really have much to say on this, but yeah, that's really what I have to say, really.
Which is not much of anything.
No.
So you just literally ummed and oh'd and ahh'd and didn't really get anywhere.
I didn't really get anywhere with this because I'm not really
there was nowhere to
familiar with them. Yeah.
Because there was nowhere to go.
There was nowhere to go with this.
But you tried.
I tried.
You tried really hard.
And I hit a dead end.
Hit a dead end. All right. So
but
then
the
we
next
go on.
fight we've got is a banger.
We both love this one. So we've got Basharat and Ewing. Is it Ewing? Ewing. All right.
Ethan Ewing.
I don't know. I keep turning him Scottish every time I say his name. But I am a huge fan of Ewing. I love the fact that he came in on short notice and spoiled the party.
This is his third undefeated opponent in the UFC, and just so you know, this is his third fight in the UFC. He has only fought undefeated prospects. That just goes to show you how much they believe in him because of his performances and the skill he has.
Well, look at his debut. He takes his debut on like no notice, goes out there, spoils it.
It was like 3 days, I'm pretty sure.
Smashes, does his thing, and then goes to work on Monday.
That just goes to show you the dog in him. And this fight actually was moved from an Apex card to this card because Basharat fell off. I forget who fell off, but I'm pretty sure Basharat fell off. But it was a good move in my opinion to put this fight, which was
on an early prelim. That just goes to show you what a strong card this actually
is. There's a lot of early prelims, to be honest.
All right, let's go to the next one. You've got Panas versus Almeida.
Yeah, this is a great fight.
It's another one. Bangers. I mean, I don't really see up till here too many fights going the distance.
I don't see a lot of fights going the distance, and if they do, I really do think they will be good, technical, high-level fights. And I think they will just be good fights overall. That's what I see from here, just looking at the early prelims right now.
So at 5 o'clock, you're going to be tuning in.
I think it's 6
o'clock.
It's 5 o'clock. Wow. I am going to be tuning in from 5 o'clock to
straight through.
I will not be getting off the couch too much.
All right. So the last of the early prelims is Tracy Cortez versus Wang Kong. I'm not really a fan of where Cortez's career has been going. I'm not familiar with Wang Kong, but you were. We were talking about it, and you were kind of excited about this.
Okay, so the reason I am excited about this, I think people are not really talking about the style of Wang Kong. Styles make fights, and styles win fights. So Wang Kong has everything to beat Tracy Cortez, in my opinion. Tracy is coming off a loss, and that just really... With her, I don't think she can handle a loss like that because when she lost to Rose, I think that was a little different because
it's Rose.
And she lost to.
Didn't she come into that fight in not the best condition too? Like she didn't look like she was the most conditioned athlete in that fight. She was a little bigger than normal.
Yeah, but also I think that goes. I just think the conditioning for her was not the best on that fight. But depending on the conditioning in this fight, we'll see. But Wang Kong is a different fighter it's a different style for her. I don't think she's faced anybody like that. And
so what's really the main thing that you're looking for Wang Kong? If you were going to say, okay, we're on track, she's going to do her thing, what are you looking at?
I'm looking at her just piecing Tracy Cortez up on their feet. I think Tracy's going to have a hard time moving at the speed of Wang Kong. That's really, I think, going to be the issue. I think she's going to be a few steps behind.
So now we get to the preliminary card, and we're kicking off the preliminary card with Luke Riley and Kai Kamaka.
Okay, so Luke Riley.
Oh, boy, here we go. Are you going to be all Luke Riley here?
No, Luke Riley trains with Paddy Pimblett, and he went to a pretty close fight in his last fight. And I think it was the England card.
They were very high on him. They were speaking very high on him.
Because he's a good athlete, and he hits super hard. He had that one win over... I think the guy's first name was Bogdan. I forget his name, but he was bald. I know that. I forget the guy's name, the last name.
That one guy in the UFC that's bald. Does he have a tattoo also?
I don't know.
Maybe.
Luke Riley comes in his debut, he gets the knockout win, and I'm pretty sure he was a little behind on that fight, and then he came in and got the knockout.
This guy's hands full with Kai Kamaka, though. Kai Kamaka, I mean, that's an all-around durable dude he's got very heavy hands.
I think that's where we see if this fight is. I think if we see if Luke Riley has all the abilities people say he does, because this is a all-around good fight for both of them. I think if they can come in with good game plans, they're good. But I think these are two different fighters that have their ability. I think they cancel each other out in certain ways.
So you think they neutralize each other?
Yeah.
So a fight that could be a banger could end up being kind of slow because both of them have skills that shut each other down?
Yeah, and I think if we see that happen, I just think that it'll kind of... With Luke Riley, I think he will just kind of throw at some point. I think he will have a point, and I think he will just throw more than he's going to stay cautious, because I think when he gets a little frustrated, his instant reaction is to throw. We're in the lobby of this
We're in the lobby of the hotel, and they just turned a fan on. So I don't know how this is going to play out. Hopefully we can clean this up. Oh my God. All right.
Dude, man.
Now we're going to Cody Garbrandt. Cody Garbrandt's another one. You were actually at his last fight.
We were both at his last fight.
We were at his last fight.
And I was not very impressed
I was not impressed at all. The nut shot.
First fighter to win by nut shot, in my opinion. I don't think anybody's done that. I think he had a point off his opponent in every round, I believe. Or it was the last two, so he basically had a guaranteed win.
I've got to hop in on him, though. So Cody Garbrandt, I don't want to hate on him. I think he's a very good fighter. I think he may be past his big moments.
I just have to say...
Wait, hold on. I think he's past his big moments. He keeps trying to make these comebacks. The last fight, I almost feel like the nut shots were kind of a gift because it really wasn't going that great for him.
He was having a tough time. He was getting...
But it lit a fire in him. I mean, he ended way harder, way stronger than he started. So he did get fired up, and that woke something up in him. I mean, if we saw more of that fire, Cody Garbrandt, I don't think he'll ever be champ again, but he could stay consistent, semi-consistent. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think we see him be consistent again. But his prime of his career, people say he only had a 25-minute prime. People say just because of his dominant win over Dominic Cruz when he dropped Dominic Cruz multiple times, where people really did think Dominic Cruz.
But look at that.
People thought Dominic Cruz was entering his second prime at the time.
Yeah, but look at the three guys. It was T.J. Dillashaw, Dominic Cruz, Cody Garbrandt.
It went T.J. as champ to
Cody.
No, Cody got the belt from just Dominic Cruz.
I don't know, but
it went TJ, and then he lost to Dominic, and then Dominic lost to Garbrandt, and then Garbrandt lost to TJ. So it was just this weird loop. But
that loop was that was just a meat grinder of a loop. I mean, what those men did to each other.
The pressure.
I don't think anybody was the same after that. I don't think
Garbrandt's recovered from both of the knockouts from
I don't
TJ.
think any of them ever. None of them were the same after that. Those three guys. I mean, they did some damage to each other, and that was just a special moment in that division with them. I don't think they could. None of them can reclaim it. TJ's gone. They're all out except Cody, and I don't know how many more he has left.
I think with Cody, that moment was so high, it was really hard to top that, in my opinion.
Of course, you're on top of the world,
You'll be arguably the greatest bantamweight at the time for most people, and
you showboated, and you put on like one of the most entertaining fights in the division ever.
You have your hands down, and you keep dropping him. That is crazy.
So that's why, I want to bring respect to his name when we speak of him. We may not be thrilled to where he is, but the things he's done has earned him the ability to stay in that spot.
And also, when he lost the belt, a new wave of fighters did come in at the same time. And I think he did get a little washed. Not just a little. I think he got washed out because his style, I just think, got neutralized by that new generation of fighters. That new generation literally had fighters that had everything. And when you look at that circle of TJ, Garbrandt, and that were just TJ and Garbrandt. You can talk about them because they were like that end crew. But I'm just saying, you can talk about TJ and Cody at the end of that. That was like the end of that one era, and that really wasn't. Neither of them were grappling heavy at all.
True.
And I think
that was like the crazy footwork, throwing bomb era.
Literally throwing bombs, and then when you come into that, and that new generation wasn't really like that. They were more diverse with their
more patience, better wrestling, more skills.
And you see that when Garbrandt, I'm pretty sure it was the fight he came back. The guy he lost who's just lost it, but he was throwing real heavy and he was winning, but he got caught because of the patience. That literally describes what Cody lost to. And I just don't think he's been able to recover from that. He has wins here and there, but he always has a high start, slow end, or a slow start, high end. But that doesn't
add up to winning when these guys are grinders. So he's got Yanez. What are you thinking there?
I think Adrian Yanez is going to beat him. I think that Garbrandt winning the last one, I think they still count it as a win.
That was a weird one, though.
It was a weird one. A lot of times when stuff like that happens, the matchmakers sometimes count it as a loss and give them a step down. But with this, they gave him a step up.
But at this point in his career, he's got to get a step up because he doesn't have time. Time's not on his side. He's got to do it now or never.
I think they're looking from him is to get some last bangers out of him. I think they're looking to get some of the last good moments out of his career.
Or develop the next guy, which is obviously what they're trying to do.
They've done that with almost everybody. But
it's a horrible way out for these guys. They're not being nice about it.
And it's not just Cody. It's everybody that's on their way out, really, in the UFC. But it makes sense because they're not going to give these guys fights where they can win easily because what does that do? They're not at the end of their career. They're not, and they're down maybe 15,
the UFC loves to build the next generation on the carcasses of the one that came before it. And there's not too many. Who's the one from Florida, the shaved head who went out at middleweight?
Oh, at middle.
Had the war with the Canadian guy. Made him look like a zombie. Split his face open. Why are we forgetting? He's like one of the greatest of all time. Whatever. Doesn't matter. Move on. Somebody in the comment section will remember and they can tell us.
Yeah, that will make a follow-up video.
All right, here we go. Now, this is the one I've been talking about.
This is the
greatest.
This is one of the biggest debuts of modern MMA
So we've got
history.
Gable Steveson versus Ellison. Ellison's no chump. I mean, he has fights. Steveson is clearly no chump. He doesn't have a lot of fights, but freak athlete.
3-0.
He's 3-0, but Olympic gold medalist. I thought he was a 3-time D1 champ. I was wrong. I've been corrected multiple times. He was a 2-time D1 champ, WWE, NFL, gold medalist, dirty boxing.
He's been in everything.
LFA.
He's been in everything. Athleticism.
APSC.
Yeah, he's been in a lot of the major regional and upcoming shows. But basically, what he's been in is everything athleticism helps you in with the sports he's been a part of. The fact that he was on the NFL practice team, maybe even the regular team.
For an athlete, not as a football player. Like literally, they were trying to make him a football player because he's an athlete. He wasn't a football player going in the NFL. He was a guy that was such a monster that they were like, we think didn't Brock Lesnar try to do that too? And Bob Sapp, same thing. Mm-hmm. Like every once in a while, you get these crazy athletes, and they say maybe we can put him on the line.
But the thing was, this isn't college football where they're trying to develop him. This is the NFL where they're trying to develop him.
Buffalo Bills, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so question for you before we do a prediction here. Better athlete, Gable Steveson or Cyril Gane? Oh, my God. I'm going to say something I don't even want to say.
If they fought each other?
No, athlete, if they played basketball.
Oh, if they played basketball, I think Gane would beat him.
Do you want to know what's crazy?
What? Josh
Hokett might be top 3 athlete in the heavyweight division. Have you seen him move?
Yes, but I just
we know how I feel about his promos, but I'm not gonna shit on his physical ability.
But his physical ability really does come from how light he is for the division. Gable also isn't the biggest heavyweight.
He played college football, I believe. I think he was.
No, he was in the NFL practice team.
So he's an NFL level. And he was a high level D1 wrestler.
Tell me the last time they had multiple NFL practice team players in the same division, not in multiple divisions. Insane.
Well, for a while there was a couple. I think wasn't Shane Carwin one of those guys?
I think so.
And then Brendan Schaub.
That was 2010.
I know, but I'm saying it was like a long time, like over 10 years ago since we've had that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, interesting. All right, Gable Steveson, Ellison. I think Steveson is just too fast, too explosive. I don't see this going more than a round. If the lights don't get to him,
That's what it's going to come down to.
If he doesn't freeze, if he does what he just did at RAF, forget it. This fight goes 2 minutes.
Yeah, I think that if he can do what he did at RAF is good, but also, will Ellison be able to block the takedown? No. I think that, I don't think.
Tell me who in the heavyweight division stops that takedown.
I think Josh Hokett, maybe, but I can't, off the top of my brain, I can't really name anybody.
There's nobody fast enough.
There's nobody fast enough.
We saw him in person. That's the fastest heavyweight I've ever seen.
Ever. He literally moves like a 170, 155.
From K1 to UFC to everything I've ever been involved in life. I've never seen it.
Like in combat sports history, I don't think. And like even comparing him to Gon's a super athlete. He's not as fast as Gable, but Gable, like the thing that makes him special is he's not fast at or just his hands or just his feet. He's fast on everything.
It's explosive.
It's just explosive. But we haven't seen him go the 3 rounds, and I think
that fight in Mexico, that's the only thing that scares me is because he ate that wheel kick, and he won the fight, but he was dying. His stomach was just, he was done. His breathing was horrendous. And I don't think it's because he was not in shape. I think that the adrenaline dump from the stress of being in these MMA fights, we saw him at DBX, and we both commented on the day of the fight of, you could see he was nervous.
And still, even though he looked nervous, it's still an athlete. But that goes to show you how much of an athlete it is for him to be that nervous and still perform like he does.
But you've never fought in MMA before. You've never done striking before for real.
That was his
then you stick him in
fight.
DBX. You got elbows. You have little gloves. You have punches while you're down. You're going against a guy who's got experience. On paper, that's horribly scary.
Second pro fight, I believe. Yeah.
DBX was second pro?
I think that was his second fight. I think
LFA came first or after that?
First.
Okay, I stand corrected. But still, you take away his wrestling and tell him he's got to strike with a guy who's got experience in fights. That took some balls, and that's why. I mean, Gable Steveson, people are hopping in the comments and talking about whatever with him, and I'm like, I've seen nothing but an upside presented with him at this point. I'm cautiously aware of some of the things that have occurred, but to be coming in at the level that he's coming in against this opponent, I think he's going to steamroll him. This gets dangerous very quickly for him because heavyweight's not that deep. He wins 2 or 3 fights. I mean,
look at Josh Hogan. Look at Josh Hogan. He had 2 fights in his and then
but Josh Hogan's in Miami flipping the bird in front of the president. The president goes, "I want that guy. Who can we get?" "Oh yeah, I like Derek Lewis." He just had the night of all nights in Miami, which led to that.
But I can see Gable not being showboat. I can just see him getting a push very early with just how fast and of the athleticism and who Gable is and the wrestler he is. I think they'll push. Look.
All right, let me ask you: do you think they're pushing him appropriately to his level?
I think this fight is. I think they're just. I think this is to see where he's at.
Yeah, but he was on the main. He was kicking off the main card. Then they dropped him down to the main prelim, and then they dropped him down again. So they keep dropping him. So I don't know. I honestly don't know what the problem is.
No, I think they were building the card at the time, and I think they had Gable as the main card. But I think more fights came together. Like the next 2 fights are very good fights. I am super excited for that. We will break down, and it will actually tell you why that got bumped down.
I just say for the factor of entertainment, questions that need to be answered, he should have kicked off the main card. All right, so let's talk about the main prelim fight. It's Nikita Krylov versus Robert Whittaker.
Dude, this fight gets me a little upset just because of the placement of it. Robert Whittaker is a former champ, and he's struggling. He's struggling, but remember, he arguably won the RDR fight. He dropped RDR really bad. I'm sorry.
Chipotle strikes again.
But Robert Whittaker, you can say he went really close with RDR. Maybe he arguably beat him, but he is still the former middleweight champ of the world and brought us some moments that cannot be replicated. Even though he has lost Izzy twice, he had the Romero fights. He had the moments with Bisping. That fight didn't happen, but it was close, but he had his moments with Bisping, so that just goes to show you he had his moments, but he's older now. I think this fight should have been I disagree with you on Gable because I think this fight should have been.
I think this is the main prelim fight, but I think Gable should have kicked off the main card.
No, I think this fight should have kicked off the main card.
This is the appropriate swing bout for this level of card. I agree with you.
But Nikita Krylov.
Did you just whatever me?
Whatever.
Did you just whatever me?
Whatever.
Wow.
I think
we're gonna have to have a conversation.
No, I think this fight should have been the first main.
All right, I got to bring up something about Whittaker.
Let me just say something about Krylov. Krylov's a real light heavyweight, and I think that size is going to be a factor in this. And I think I just don't like. Also, I don't think Krylov's chin is going to be able to go if he takes shots. I don't think it's going to last. So if Robert Whitaker can come in there, look really nice and like stay like flow, I think he can win. It's just is the size and the weight going to be the
Have
issue.
you seen an evolution in Whitaker's style? He's been the same fighter since I saw him on The Ultimate Fighter. And I'll be honest, you could ask Stein. This is a true statement. I was watching The Ultimate Fighter. I mean, this is, 10 years ago at this point?
He said this story before he became champ, by the way.
So, no, he's on The Ultimate Fighter, and no one knows him. He's not in the UFC yet. I texted Stein, and I said, that dude will be champ one day. Look at the way he moves. Look at the way he controls distance, and watch how he throws his hands. And he was like, no, this guy's washed. And then, bang, Robert Whitaker became Robert
Whitaker took some losses before he became champ.
But he had the foundation to develop into the guy that he is.
But his skill set was so advanced for that time.
Nobody had hands and distance control the same way. It was such an awkward, weird style, but he would move and his hips just never broke. He just always moved his head by moving his feet, put himself in good position. The only problem is, as we age, it gets slower, and that movement-heavy style, distance. Yeah, but you can beat anybody with distance control.
Yeah.
But the problem is, you slow down. Your reactions change. I mean, he's taken a lot of shots. His nervous system is not what it was when he started. So Robert Whitaker's style is still his style. I just feel that Father Time's winning a little bit. There's some styles that last forever. Some of these guys don't evolve, and it just continues to work. I mean, look at Glover. I mean, has Glover ever been anything but Glover?
Glover had the same style forever, and then at the end he became champ. That just goes to show you he did not change, and he just grinded it out.
Yeah, but it's his superpower was he could take you down and get on top.
Let me just say something about Whitaker.
No, I don't want you to say anything. Don't you shush me?
Yeah, I did.
Do whatever, and you shush me.
Yeah, I'm trying to speak right
now.
Wow. This fight's really making us argue right now. But
we didn't even pick anybody yet.
Yeah, but I have Whitaker just based off the speed. But Whitaker is basically he's been the tough man of middleweight for a while. He's just been the guy who can eat shots a lot, and I don't know if that's going to carry over to light heavyweight, but that's it.
I'm going with Krylov because I think he's longer. I think he's durable. I think he's creative enough. I think Whitaker is a beast. I think he's a grinder. I think Father Time has just got to him a little bit, and I think Krylov
went from Bukowskis to Whitaker. I just think that's a big jump. Like, he has the loss to Reyes, but that was really quick. He got slept really quick in that one. And I think that...
But I think there's a creativity to Krylov that I think is going to make Whitaker struggle.
Yeah, and there's just that size difference.
And Krylov's a real light heavyweight.
Yeah.
And Whitaker's not.
So...
I don't know. Maybe Whitaker is like reborn, not having to cut that weight.
And maybe we see him huge now. Maybe we see him bigger.
Yeah, but how has that been playing out for guys that have been getting bigger? I mean, if you're not cutting the weight and it's allowing your natural weight to be more there, but when these guys get bigger, they get slower. And these older guys, when they get bigger, what they got to do to get bigger makes them slower.
Yeah, we'll see.
So, I don't know. If Whitaker comes in at like a 185er who's not really cutting weight, I think he's good. He'll be fast. I think he'll have a more youthful look than Krylov.
It's the speed.
Look at Krylov's record. He's 31-11 versus 27-9. That's a lot of experience with these two guys.
But also, Krylov has quite a few more fights than Whitaker, and he actually. I think we're talking about this like Krylov's younger. Krylov is. I don't know by age. I think he might be older. But if he's not, he's physically older because of the damage he's taken. He's been knocked out a few times.
But he's also Eastern European, so he has the ability to endure in ways that other people don't.
Still. Whitaker's Australian.
So?
I think that cancel each other out.
Okay. So I think it'll be an interesting fight.
But now,
all right, let's get to the main card.
We get to talk about my favorite fight of the night.
Your favorite fight of the night, which is the wild one.
King Green versus Terrance McKinney. This fight is not going more than 2 minutes.
It's not going to get out of the first round.
No, I don't think Terrance McKinney has gotten out of the first round.
No, I don't think he's gotten out of the first round yet.
It's in the UFC.
It's kill or be killed every time, first round. He doesn't like long nights of work. He gets in there and just does what he does. And he's actually hilarious. I shared the bus with him, I think, 2 times. And when he starts talking, it's it's just pure comedy gold. He's hilarious.
And you're not the biggest fan of King Green, but based off just the way
No,
he acts.
I mean, I don't. No, okay. I'm not really a fan of how he fights, but the reason for it is that he's so fast. He reads so well, but
for him to do it,
the hands down and kind of using this antagonistic style, I'm like, man, put a little bit of orthodox on that, just a little bit, not even a lot of it.
No, we've seen that
just
recently.
A little bit.
We've seen that recently, and he's actually looked better. What is he on? Is he on a 3-fight winning streak right now? Yeah, I think he is. That's crazy for King Green to be on a 3-fight winning streak. When has that happened?
When was the last time he got slept really bad?
He got slept by Roofy with that spinning.
Yeah, but Roofy's sleeping everybody.
He's been slept a few times. He's been beat
but
17.
That's the thing, though.
He's been beat 17 times.
35-17 and won no contest. That's insane.
And that also.
And you're on the main card of International Fight Week with 17 losses.
That's when the UFC believes in your ability to perform. And plus, with Terrance McKinney, he's wild, but King Green has the more experience. You can tell by the record, but he's also fought way better guys. Has he won against those guys? Not all the time, but has he had the experience and shared the octagon with them? Yes. So I think my pick is King Green. I think he's going to catch McKinney coming in, but I don't know.
Thing about this is as close to a spectacle fight as you're ever going to see on a UFC card, which is pretty wild because we've got Conor and Max, which is a bit of a spectacle too, but we'll get to that. But this is really, King Green, Terrance McKinney, do you ever see these guys being title contenders?
No, I see King Green. I see King Green going farther than Terrance McKinney. As crazy as that sounds, McKinney is younger than King Green by a good amount of years. But I just think his style does not create good paths to the top. I think he will forever be, in his career, be the spectacle guy.
The fun guy everybody wants to watch.
Exactly, and it brings eyes.
And that's what you got to do. Some fights got to bring eyes. Some fights got to make champs.
I think Terrance McKinney's the guy you've put up to up-and-comers, and if they can beat him, I think that's their opening to the top, if McKinney can break in.
Yeah. All right, now we got Brandon Royval versus Kavanagh.
I was very excited for this fight. I saw this got announced, and Rony Kavanagh, he is the underdog of, fighting, basically, when it came to the last one. He showed everybody that number doesn't mean anything against that fight against Brandon Moreno, right? We watched that. And,
you also know my opinion about Moreno. I think that Moreno has been holding a high spot, but hasn't been performing to that level for a long time. Kavanagh came in as, on paper, the underdog, but
he was coming off the knockout against Charles Johnson. He was winning that fight, but he got caught. So, for him to come off after a loss and look like that, that's very interesting to me.
Yeah, but I think he's a young guy with a good style, and I think, this Royval fight is going to be a test because Royval is, there's grit there. That's a tough dude. That's a tough dude.
I think it was the 3-round affair with Joshua Van. That was a brutal fight that took a lot out of Royval, in my opinion, because he's coming off that knockout loss to Manel Kopp, and I think that took a lot out of him. That Joshua Van fight, there was so much grit coming into that. I don't think he's the same fighter coming out of that fight.
Royval is also a lot longer than people realize, and he's somebody that hasn't really used his reach as effectively as he can in the division.
If he can use this against Kavanagh's shown he has trouble with guys with reach.
That's
with the Charles Johnson fight. Royval and Charles Johnson, they're not the same fighter, but on the reach-wise, if Royval can come in and state a plan and use his reach like it's good, I think he can win, even though I think Kavanagh is so nice and sticks to his stance and sticks to his game plan so well. I think he can pull this off. I'm going with Kavanagh, but if Royval can use his range effectively, he wins.
Yeah, it's a bit of a coin flip for me. I'm going to lean towards Royval, but I don't know. I'm leaning towards Royval just because I just feel like in this moment, with the experience that he has, he's going to rise to the occasion and kind of put it together better. This is a huge fight for him.
No matter what, I think Kavanagh, he's going to perform and show us the skill. I just think no matter like even win or lose all his fights like that, when he got caught, he showed he has looked very good.
But you only get so many opportunities to lose and look good before it starts to get dicey for you.
This is flyweight, so I think if he can beat Royval, I think he can get a really good top contender, and I think we see him get a quick rise.
So Royval in this is either going to springboard another guy towards a title fight, or he's going to earn his own.
Yeah, I don't think Royval will really reach the title. I don't think we see him in another title fight just off how this division's looking.
If he wins, maybe he fights Taira.
I can see that happening, and even
see Kavanagh fight Taira.
I can see. I think the winner of this is going to fight Taira.
All right, Cory Sandhagen, Mario Bautista.
The rematch of the night.
And I don't want either one of these guys to lose. I'm a huge fan of both of them.
Yeah, this is an interesting fight because both of these fighters have evolved so much since they fought. This is this is like the main event in my opinion.
Batista's last fight, I believe, was the Abu Dhabi card I was at. And that was just.
I think so.
Didn't he fight?
I think he's coming off.
Didn't he fight Nurmagomedov?
No, he's coming off the.
Who did he fight there?
Let me pull it up, guys. I'm sorry, we need a fact check.
Fact check.
Mario, frick. No, not this.
Cory Sandhagen is one of those guys.
Cory Sandhagen's really good.
But he's just one of those guys, though, that he gets his moment, and then the moment kind of gets him. And that's where I'm hoping for him here, that he can break through on this.
No, he's coming off that win to Vinícius Oliveira.
Okay.
That was the one. That was, in my opinion, I don't think Vinícius Oliveira belonged in that fight just because Bautista's, I think he has certified him as a top spot in the weight class, and I don't think Vinícius Oliveira has. Or he moved up a weight class since, but he's coming off a win.
Cory Sandhagen, dynamic, crazy striker.
He's coming off that loss to Merab.
Jiu-jitsu's better than people give him credit for.
He beat Figgy with his jiu-jitsu. His jiu-jitsu looked really good against Figgy. He played guard game with him.
I think he's a phenomenal all-around guy. I think the chip on his shoulder is big enough on this one. I got to go with Sandhagen. I feel like he's a guy that he's just been fighting to get that big moment, and it just keeps getting spoiled. But on this card, on this night, I think this is the moment he breaks through.
He has had he has one of the greatest knockouts of all time with that flying knee, Frankie Edgar. The spinning.
The only thing
wheel kick against Morales a while back.
Highlight reel knockout, Frankie Edgar. Okay, fine.
He had trouble coming off.
The only thing I'm going to say about that one is the Frankie Edgar that he caught at that time was a Frankie Edgar very, very late in his career.
And he wasn't as fast anymore either.
If he fought a young Frankie Edgar would have monkey dunked him and smoked him.
Prime Frankie does that to a lot of people.
Yeah, prime Frankie, Cory Sandhagen does not end that way, but Cory Sandhagen at that time with that level of skill, with that explosive power, that was a bad matchup. I thought they did Frankie dirty on that one. But I never felt good about that.
Frankie had the worst retirement run. He just went off.
And I just don't understand. The UFC acts like they love him. He's the Rocky of the organization, and they do him like that.
I think they do that because I think they did that. They built so many people off him, though. Think about that.
It's just like, again.
It's not nice. It's
not nice. They did that to Pat Smith.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. It's so terrible. All right. So now let's go to the co-main event, which is nuts. Benoît St. Denis versus Paddy Pimblett. And the point I always make about St. Denis, this is a dude that when you call him a killer, I actually think he killed people.
No, he has.
Wasn't he a sniper for the Foreign Legion?
I think so, and he is.
He's like a sniper for the Foreign Legion. A legit killer. Special forces.
Crazy. He has that mentality. It's just the style he brings to the table it's not supported as well. Like, his mentality is not supported by his style that much.
I think this fight comes down to, does Paddy get to keep it dirty and keep
Paddy's
it weird?
so much bigger than
or
him.
does St. Denis slow it down and grind it out?
If Paddy loses, I don't know where we see him because that's a rough way to.
Do you say Paddy by knockout or by submission?
If Paddy wins, I think it's going to be by submission just because of the mere size of him. He's huge. He was like a foot taller than Gaethje, and Gaethje he's not big, but he's above average size for the division, I would say.
They don't even look like the same division.
Yeah.
Paddy Pimblett looks like a 170-pounder.
BSD is going to look very small compared to Paddy, and I think that's what's going to be the denominator in this. I think that BSD. I don't have BSD. I was very high on BSD coming into this fight. And then I looked at the size of Paddy Pimblett in his matchups. He's too big for a lot of these guys.
And he's pissed off.
Yeah, and he's pissed off coming off that Gaethje fight. And I think, but also, is his chin there? Is his chin the same after taking that beating from Gaethje? I don't know. So.
I don't know. I got to go with Paddy on this one.
Same. I think the size is just too much for BSD.
I think a pissed off big Paddy is a really, really hard go.
If BSD can hurt Paddy at all, though, I think it's over. Like, I think that's the thing with BSD. If BSD can hurt you, it's going to be over just because of that finisher mentality.
He's a killer.
Yeah, literally.
All right.
That's my fix on the co-main event. I got Paddy. Is that your final?
I'm going with Paddy on that too.
Same.
All right, let's go on the main event, the big one. Conor McGregor, Max Holloway, 2. I mean, come on.
This is a ridiculous matchup. But what scares me is, the truth is that what scares me the most is Max Holloway got the cover of the deluxe edition of UFC 6.
Cover curse.
If Conor wins, cover curse is 100% real.
So crazy.
This is the first time, in my opinion, where the person on the cover got an easy fight. Like, usually the person on the cover gets like a super hard fight.
Okay, but is this an easy fight? So, okay, look. I've been pretty clear on this. I don't think Conor is Conor anymore. I think Max is the more active, relevant guy. I think he's the healthier fighter.
They're both hitting.
They're both going to hit really hard. But my only thing with Conor is people keep they look at Conor, they keep bringing up the old Conor. But it's been over 6 years since he won a fight.
What people talk about prime Conor, that was in 20. Like, the prime Conor people talking about was the prime. Like, So the first time he won the belt is going to be 11 years on the dot, July 11th when they fight. So it's going.
You were 2 years old.
I was 2 years old when Conor won the belt for the first time.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, he hasn't been in his prime for so long.
I mean, power doesn't really go, but the ability to deliver that power is what you lose.
It's his power. No, his power hasn't really changed. His power is insane. But
the power has been disappearing after a round and a half.
Yeah, I think that I think Max can wither the storm, I think he has the win. But Conor, he doesn't have that grit, I don't think, anymore. I think he has more quit than he has grit anymore. So
I think again, when you're living the way that Conor's living, when you have the people around you that you have around you're paying, you got all this money, you got all this time.
He got really locked in for this fight, though.
Yeah, I know, but you got locked in, but you see who he's sparring with and what he's doing. It's okay. I mean, he believes in himself so much, and that's like his thing. But how long does that last? That's kind of a young man's thing. I don't see him at this age being able to do it.
That he has tried a lot. This fight camp for him has been a very big change of lifestyle.
Compared to what he's been doing.
Compared to what
he's not partying in Ibiza right now.
Yeah, I think that Conor can only pull it off in round 1 or 2. I don't think we see round 3, 4, 5 knockout. The reason I say that is he was pushing for a 3-round fight.
Yeah, he's pushing for a 3-round fight, and Max doesn't get to work until round 3. So
Max, if you look at Max's big fights, like the Calvin Kattar fight, like I was talking to you about this earlier. Like you were saying how he is not as much as like a thrower than he is. He's actually more plotting.
He's a plotter.
But he doesn't become that like super heavy guy until
he doesn't come like
5th round.
The real Like he doesn't come the Instagram
And
post until much later.
Every big moment we've seen Max in has happened in the 4th or 5th round. The Calvin Kattar, I'm the best boxer, happened in the 4th or 5th round. The Justin Gaethje moment happened in the last second of round 5. And just like think about that. That's insane. And every time Max has had that big start, he's lost the fight. Really the Volk fights, he had a good start. I still think he won the second fight unanimously.
I did too.
That was a robbery for Max, and you can argue the first fight, but I do think Volk won the first fight. But the third fight was a different Volk. No, we've never seen that Volk. I don't think we'll ever see that one again. That was prime Volk. So, but Max, every big moment he has is later in the fight. So I think if we see Max do his work, I actually think we're going to see a change in this fight. I think we're going to see him. If Conor wants to throw, I don't think Max is going to want to throw with him early.
I don't think he'll throw them early. I think he'll stay on the outside. He'll use his movement.
Watch we see Conor go for the takedown because he in the first. Oh yeah.
Yeah, but that was also didn't we have a knee problem in that fight?
They both had really bad knee problems.
I mean, Max was so young
Max
in his
was
career.
Like a child. Let me
and
just.
Conor
say
was
something.
a wild man.
Yeah, let's just say this is not a rematch anymore. This is not.
No, this is not a rematch.
This is the first fight was so long ago. Conor has changed his fighting style.
And he also went from like being broke to be one of the richest men in MMA.
Let's think about this. Conor, like most of his fights he's lost recently have been because of that boxing style he's tried going to, hands up. Like he won most of his fights with that karate style that he could flow in.
He's going back to that karate style, but I think Max picks him apart with that.
He's not coming into I don't think we're going to see that original karate style. I think we're going to see a
hybrid.
Yeah, I just don't think Conor has done it in so long. I don't think it works the same for him anymore. I don't think he is that 145er that had the mentality he wanted. Basically for Conor was back then was, I win the belt and that's all I'm putting my mind to. And he got the belt and he he looked lost a little after that. Because he wasn't really working towards anything anymore, and he's just been the guy people call out, and that's what he's been, because he's been the money payout guy for a lot of these fighters. If you fight him, you're getting a lot of money. That's been basically what he's been recently.
Red panty night.
Yeah. And Conor, Michael Chandler's been calling him out since 2021, 2022.
My favorite Michael Chandler meme is the one where they're like, Michael Chandler is weighing in as the backup for this fight, not because the UFC asked him to, because he just wants to.
Yeah, he wants to feel part of it.
Yeah, he wants to feel part of it. I mean, it's crazy.
The fact that they don't give him the Conor fight is crazy.
I don't know what happened with Chandler. I mean, God, I don't even want to get into Chandler. That's like a whole other conversation.
Same guy they said was beating Khabib when he debuted.
Yeah, it's crazy. But I think top to bottom, this is a hell of a card. There was a really good conversation to be had for every single fight. There's so much experience and history in these guys that made up this fight card. And now here's the thing I wanted to just touch for this was from the business side of it. I think that UFC Freedom 250 was such a massive event that it's overshadowed everything that's happened since.
Yeah, and I think people talking bad about this card are just too blindsided about the Freedom 250. Freedom 250 was, you can say, I don't think it's better than UFC 300. I think UFC 300 is the greatest card of all time. I think Freedom is a very close second. Nothing really compares to those two.
But in terms of like a recent moment that's massive, that grabbed our attention.
Ilya Topuria, the people said he was the next thing.
But everything
loses, so I don't think they're going to top a moment like that, and I think that's the thing.
And the build up to it. I mean, we're talking
months.
Ilya comeback. Yeah. There's months of this. There's promos. People are fighting over the quality of the commercial. They're fighting over the politics. Yeah. We're watching the White House lawn get converted. I mean, there was so much, and I think that's what goes into the hardest part of being a UFC fan today is that the fight events are so close to each other that unless it's the Sphere or the White House or some interesting thing that has to get constructed.
It's
very hard to go from fight to fight to fight to fight and stay engaged.
These Apex cards recently have been very good. You've been looking. I've been enjoying them. But they're being overshadowed by good cards every other weekend.
But are they being overshadowed by other cards? Or are they being overshadowed by expectations because of how we were trained to be fans over the years? I mean, now 44 events is very different than 12. We used to have time in between. There's no more time in between. And also, when you take out that we don't pay for a pay-per-view anymore, it's on Paramount, I think it takes away. I think when you cough up $80 or you go to the bar because you don't want to spend the money and you're there with your friends, it's very different than just tuning into your subscription. I think that there's a little bit of a detachment.
I think that's why
they have to figure out.
I think that's why the build-up means so much more for a lot of this.
But I don't think they're investing into the build-up because I don't think in 2026, I don't know if anybody has figured it out. I don't think there's too much in sport that is actually figured out on a fast pace how to utilize this new digital world we're in. So the UFC is in a position that they got to figure it out. But the cool thing about the UFC is if anybody's going to figure it out, I feel like it's them.
They can basically figure out anything right now.
They have the money, the time, and the creative team.
They went from, I hate to hate on the champions about a year ago, but a year ago now, the champions were pretty bad. We had, no hate, but we had a lot of boring fighters. And
it felt inevitable too. It was like, oh, they're just going to keep grinding out.
But the thing is, the UFC showed they can still pull their viewers and get everything back together. They can keep it all together when the fights are like that. We didn't have a title finish for a very long time.
So the way that I was...
Not a very long time, a few months, but that's different from what it's been recently.
I was talking to Tommy in the gym, and Tommy and I were talking about, build up the fights. And it was really funny because I kind of made the point to him. I said, we used to talk about the fights on Friday going into Saturday. Now we're talking about the fights on Sunday afternoon going into Monday morning. So we are tuning in, but we don't know what we're tuning into because it's every freaking week. And we're talking about what we just saw instead of what's coming up because they just haven't had a system of really developing it. I think they're smart announcing Ian Gary versus Islam now. I think that is a fight that we're going to wait for. I think that's a fight we're going to talk about.
Double champion Islam, basically, who's fighting people this is you can argue this is what they've been trying to build up to. It is literally like the Conor Khabib like a blurry mirror.
I think Islam's probably the best champ we have that just never had a foe
skill-wise
that pulled us in. So
besides
I think,
Volk.
but there was no if Islam beats Ian Gary, there's a large fan base that's going to be happy because Ian Gary, as good as he is a bit of a heel. A lot of people will be happy that he won because they just don't like Islam and his style, or they say they do, or they convince themselves some weirdness about Islam. But I think that Ian Gary, if he wins, people are going to be like, wow. And if he loses, I think there's still enough of a happiness that he lost. And I think it'll give Islam an opportunity because in terms of guys out of that team, he's probably the best personality. I mean, he's good on interviews when you go to him. He's got an interesting story. He's a humble guy that you don't have to worry about going to jail. And he kind of is funny. And I've never really heard anyone say anything bad about him.
With Islam, you can very strongly argue that he has potential to be. I think he is a very high person on the GOAT list right now.
Absolutely.
And if he can keep this up and he can work like he is already, but harder and better, if he can beat Ian Gary and go on to beat Protest or Michael Morales, if he can go on that,
all right,
have two defenses. If he can have 3 defenses at welterweight, in my opinion, I think he asserts himself in the top 5 of the GOAT.
He's the only. Okay, what other division has a murderer's row like 170? 125.
125.
125, 170, most competitive divisions in the UFC right now.
Yeah, that's
actually interesting,
This is the first
high
time where
level
125
killers everywhere.
This is the first time where 125 has eyes on it, even though it doesn't have as many eyes as other divisions. It has more eyes than it ever has had, and that's just off how good the fighters are skill wise, and just like the fights they're putting on. You can say that we've had boring champs for a good time, but also we had the trilogy of, or it was actually 4 fights with Figgy and Moreno. That was just
I think that sucked the life out of the division
for a very long time. And then you have Pantoja and that, and Pantoja actually is, a lot of people don't agree with this, but Pantoja is a star. I don't care what you say. He is a star.
Well, at least in our house.
Not just in our house.
I think Pantoja is the most violent 125er in the division. He throws with bad intention. He really wants to hurt you. Joshua Van wants to crack you. I feel like Pantoja wants to ruin your life.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is, Pantoja is like the nicest one after and before the fight. But when you're in that octagon, there's nothing in him that wants any of you to like continue functioning.
That's one of the reasons why I like him, is because he has the ability to flip the switch and he's not a jerk off outside of it. Those are the guys that are my favorite. The ones that can be animals in the octagon and can be real human beings outside of it. Those are the guys I like the most. The ones that can't turn it off, the ones that are constantly getting in trouble, the ones that are always just stirring up shit. They're the ones that are annoying to me at times, because I'm like, you're on top of the world. You're making all this money. You've got all these fans. You're doing this thing. Don't ruin it. Just entertain us in the octagon and be our hero outside of it. Yeah. But again,
do you think Joshua Van beats Pantoja? I don't think so. I think Pantoja will take him down.
No. I think Pantoja pissed off.
Guys, and
oh my God, pissed off Pantoja. I want to see it. I want to see it.
A lot of people have said Pantoja, or not Pantoja, Tyra is a grappler, and Van did a very good. I'm not saying Van did bad. I'm just saying, like, and there people like are like, oh yeah, Van like really defended and looked good on the ground. Tyra's not Pantoja.
No, but Tyra is a jiu-jitsu guy. Pantoja's a violent grappler.
Yeah, and his submissions are different. He's ground. He's like,
Tyra wants to choke you out or submit you. Pantoja wants to like squeeze your head off or break your arm.
Yeah, and Pantoja's willing to strike with you too. It didn't look like in that fight that Tyra's really willing to stand on the feet with him as he
doesn't have that stand-up experience. Yeah. He's getting better at it. I think him with a little bit better striking is a bear to deal with. His takedowns were so good. Yeah. And honestly, his grit, the amount of punches he was able to eat from Van and keep going was insane.
Van,
impressive.
You can I don't think I'm not as high on Van as other people are, just based off of I'm still upset on the way the Pantoja fight went, because I think that fight would have showed where Van was where Van was. Yeah,
but we wouldn't have gotten the Van Tyra fight, which is one of the best fights 125 has ever had.
And now we see Van Pantoja. I think the build up to that will be amazing. That rematch is going to have a lot of friction in between, because Pantoja wants the belt back that bad.
So we'll end it a little bit on this. My feeling is that right now, in this era of the UFC, the champs are important, but the weirdness of all these divisions, guys bouncing around, people getting hurt, the crazy part about it is that we're getting really good fights. Just period. Good fights. Forget about championship fights. We're just getting really good matchups, and matchups that we don't see coming. Like, did we really think that Paddy and Gaethje was going to be that much fun? Did we think Gaethje versus Ilya was going to be that? Come on.
Most people thought that wasn't going out of the second round. I had Gaethje. I
had Gaethje.
I had it. We both had Gaethje.
I had Gane too.
I had Pereira, but yeah.
I think that
Gane's going to beat Aspinall.
If Aspinall comes back and fights Gane, I think that is a really good fight.
I do too. I think that angry Aspinall is different.
So, last question for you. I know I keep saying last or whatever. Question.
It's fine. We can keep.
Does John Jones come back, or does John Jones leave the UFC and go fight MVP?
I don't think we ever see him in MVP. I'm going to be completely honest.
You don't think?
I don't think.
In a year and a half from now?
No, I don't think I don't think Ngannou and John is ever going to happen. I think what's going to happen is, hope this happens. I don't think we see John fight again unless this happens. I hope that if Zuffa can do this, if Zuffa boxing can do this, this might be one of the greatest boxing fights of all time. John Jones versus Alexander Usyk.
I don't think it'll happen. I don't think it's good.
Both of them double retirement.
I don't think the UFC owning Zuffa and the UFC. I don't think as a MMA brand and a boxing brand, it makes sense for either side to take an L in a fight like that.
Usyk's been calling for it.
Because Usyk wants a big payday on the way out the door. And it's just an interesting conversation. But I don't think – a lot of guys call for a lot of things. A lot of guys were like, oh, let's go to Zuffa and make it like, misfits. No. They're developing Zuffa into a legit – it is a legit boxing organization. And I think if you do freak fights, it delegitimizes the sport.
I don't think – okay. Wait.
John Jones is not a boxer. You don't fight the heavyweight champ of the world with no boxing fights.
Do you think the Conor Mayweather fight was a massive fight?
I think that at the time, those two individuals, but they didn't do it under Zuffa.
Yeah.
That was like you rented Conor out to do a thing. And the UFC profited massively off that without losing any part of its brand. It's not going to go brand first brand in what it owes. It's not going to take two companies that it owns and put guys representing what those companies represent to war with each other to make a big payday, but ultimately it could delegitimize either side of it. They need John Jones to be the GOAT, and if Usyk decides to come over, they're going to need a fight like Anthony Joshua or something like that, where it would be like a handoff from one GOAT to another, or, hey, this GOAT decided to end with us. They're looking to be legitimate. They're not looking to be MVP and freak show.
I think John, I just don't think we ever see him in MMA again. I think if anything, I just think we see him in boxing because
RAF. I want Daniel Cormier, John Jones, RAF, pay him like $5 million, let him go do it.
Yeah.
I think they said they had like 12 or something lined up, like some crazy number.
Yeah, but if we see John Jones ever fight, not wrestle, just if we ever see him fight again, I think it's going to have to be in boxing because I think that's the only place where he's going to get the money he wants. But I
don't think he'll come back unless Gable flames out. If Gable does well, he rides that out, and then he'll be too old. I think that he will ride the Gable wave.
Yeah, if he can, what would be cool is I don't think this is necessarily what's going to happen. What would be interesting is if John Jones and Gable were ever doing good at the same time. That'd be a crazy situation where the crazy duo of fighters. But where's John going to go? John's not. I don't think we're going to see him fight in the UFC again. I don't think he's going to get what he wants there.
No, and I don't think he wants Aspinall. I don't think he wants Gone, even though he said he wanted Gone. Like he was like, okay. I think when he saw what Gone was doing to Aspinall, he was like, okay, maybe I'll do it. But I just don't know if he wants to take that risk at this point. He's the GOAT. Why would you come back and put all that on the line unless the money is insane money? But what's insane money? What do you got to pay him? $100 million to get him to come back?
I think it's going to be a minimum of $50 million for him to come back and get.
Weren't they talking 60 for the White House card? 30. I think it was 30 they offered him for the White House card.
And he said no. I think it's going to have to be $50 million, and I think it's going to be a minimum of $50 to $60 million. That's where it's going to start, and it's going to have to go up at least, and it's going to go there, and you have to pay him a lot of money to fight a fight that's going to be competitive.
I still say that in a year and a half from now, you're going to see John Jones' contract run out, and then Francis Ngannou, if Francis fights Robles and survives it, I think Francis Ngannou, John Jones on Netflix, massive money.
Still, if he loses, it works. If Ngannou loses to Robles, I think
there's enough heat between Francis and John Jones.
Yeah, does John take it, you think?
If the money was right.
The money was right. That's literally all it comes down to with John.
I don't know about that. I don't think it always just comes down to money. I think he uses the money in the argument. I think that there's a tremendous amount of pressure on him to not lose. He's done so well for himself.
Wait,
And at
so-
this late in his career, with the physical issues he's got, with the young lions coming up, I don't think he wants to risk wrecking what he's built his entire lifetime.
Do you think he's gonna? Do you think when he
Put this in your mouth.
Ah.
Or
Do you think when he fights? Do you think if John Jones fights again, do you think he's gonna win?
depends on who he fights. I think he beats Francis.
You do.
Yes.
The way Francis did look at MVP was rough, and
Boxing changes guys. It makes them stiff. They have trouble.
Yeah.
Francis hits so damn hard. If you stand with him, he will knock you out. But I don't know if he has the ability to stop the wrestling. John Jones's wrestling is another level.
Yeah, it comes down to how much they weigh too. Also, what's going to be the weight?
John doesn't
difference?
look that big.
He doesn't, and I don't think he would be. I don't think he'd get any bigger for it.
I think him coming in at like 240, savage.
And if he starts working out, he's going to be good. But his body, I don't think can handle a big fight like that again. So I think that's going to be the big difference.
All right, man. We have to go and make this about your mother again. So we got to go back and support Mom. She has final call outs coming up soon. I think she was just calling me. So, all right. That was fun. This is Brian Wright with Coach's Corner with my son, Brian the interviewer. That was fun.
Hopefully we can do it again.
And hopefully the sound is okay and this freaking fan in the background didn't ruin this.
Bro, this fan is actually annoying. So
all right.
Those are just our thoughts on the UFC and the fights right now. So, all right?
So, yeah, if you have a different opinion, let us know in the comments.
Comment down below.
People enjoy leaving comments. They love torturing your father based off of the things he has to say.
But he doesn't care.
I really don't. It's all good. It's all gross to me.
Social media.
All right. That was fun. Brian, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
We'll be on soon because it's summer break and he has more time. Maybe next one we'll just do it live from Vegas.
Yeah.
All right. Peace.
In Vegas, we gotta talk about because that we'll be there for the after DDP. No.
We'll be there on the lead up to Oklahoma, right?
Yeah, or the day after, I think.
Awesome.
So we can talk about it
in the heat.
In the heat there. Dry, it's going to be dry, not humid like Teaneck, New Jersey.
Yeah, it's like 108 degrees, soaking wet here.
120%
humidity. Yeah. It's disgusting. I feel like I'm in Thailand. All right.
So
I've tried to say goodbye like 3 times. Brian and Brian, peace.